Welcome to the Grand Theft World podcast, hosted and sponsored by the fine, intrepid, courageous members over at grandtheftworld.com. Tonight, we have a lot of things to unpack in episode 126. This is Trump's Arrested Development. It keeps happening week after week. Is something going to happen? Is something not going to happen? We're going to dig into that story tonight. But before we can get into that, we got the TikTok Patriot Act for the internet bill that's being snuck around behind the scenes, and it wants to take away everybody's privacy and anonymity and maybe make you accountable for what your computer touches that you don't have any knowledge of your computer touching. It takes away things like VPN, a whole bunch of things to unpack in that.
In its short 6-year lifespan, Beijing-based company ByteDance's TikTok has surpassed Google.com with well over 2 billion downloads worldwide. From the outset, the Chinese algorithm source code had been collecting the habits and inner intent of every single user, building a psychological profile of each user while addicting them to content promoting self-harm by catering to their preferences and habits, most of them children.
The more time that middle and high schoolers spend on social media, the evidence is the more likely they are to experience depression and anxiety, and this is particularly troubling since apparently 16% of American teenagers report that they use TikTok, quote, almost constantly. That's, I think, about 5 million teenagers in this country that are on TikTok all the time.
Mr. Chu, your algorithms have prioritized providing harmful content directly to children, like self-harm challenges and even suicide. I know you know about the blackout challenge, which others may know as the choking challenge that encourages children to bring them to the point of unconsciousness or in some cases, tragically, death.
In 2019, TikTok was hit with the largest civil penalty by the Federal Trade Commission in a children's privacy case. 4 years later, TikTok still has not taken sufficient action to fix the problems. I assume because child users are incredibly profitable to your bottom line. TikTok could be designed to minimize the harm to kids, but a decision was made to aggressively addict kids in the name of profits.
Do you know how many children have died because of this? Do you have any idea? Can you tell me?
Congressman, again, it's heartbreaking.
Can you tell me how many children in America have died because of challenges like this?
The majority of people who use our platform use it for positive experiences.
That's not what I ask you. I ask you, tell me the number of children, of U.S. children who have died because of these challenges.
Dangerous challenges are not allowed on our platform. If we find them, we will remove them. We take this very seriously.
Obviously, you found one today and you removed it. We had to bring it to your attention, and I know I'm out of time. Thank you for being here. Welcome again to the most bipartisan committee in Congress.
Lurking under the surface of the seemingly most bipartisan committee in Congress addressing the TikTok distraction lies communist-level legislation like the Restrict Act, for example, which authorizes the Secretary of Commerce to review and prohibit certain transactions between persons in the U.S. and foreign adversaries investigating tech products and services that could pose national security risks. The Restrict bill would allow any software, hardware, or any other product or service integral to the telecommunications products and services with over 1 million users to now be at the government's disposal to review, prosecute, and take possession of, including your home security system. The federal government could review all of your personal information without notification, banning any game, application, or anything they deem fit if it poses a risk. Those prosecuted under this legislation would find themselves facing up to 20 years in prison and or up to $1 million in fines if they were also using a VPN. This would be the final death knell to free speech on the internet.
We need a tool that is rules-based, that not only takes this current issue at hand, but also think about Chinese Communist Party-controlled artificial intelligence or quantum computing. Or synthetic biology. We need a tool on a going forward basis, not just the kind of whack-a-mole one-off approach we've had so far.
Any fool still using the mass mind-controlling TikTok is merely a rat in a totalitarian cage. under the boot of a rabid hydra of propaganda growing in power as technocrats reach the coming singularity of artificial intelligence, sacrificing their personal data at the altar of the Communist Party and the global psyop eugenic engineers.
But that was overshadowed this week by good news for individuals like Jacob Tansley, formerly known as the QAnon Shaman in the media. He got released, or maybe early. It depends on which news channel you watch. Some people are like, it's a triumph because Tucker released the footage and they let him out early. And then if you look at his, the other side, they're like, well, this is standard operating procedure to send him to a halfway house at this point, and he's already served 3.5 years, something like that, out of a 4-year sentence.
The QAnon Shaman, of course, his real name, Jacob Tansley, who pleaded guilty to storming the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, has been released from prison to a halfway house 14 months early. Now, here is, of course, the video that surfaced just recently that showed Jacob being just kind of walked through the Capitol by officers who, this all seems very peaceful and very much approved by the officers who are walking with him. And so this video had just recently surfaced, and everyone said, well, why is he still in prison? He needs to be released. This is horrible. How come this didn't come up in the trial? This should have been evidence. This should give grounds for his whole trial to be upended and the verdict to be upended. Well, there's been some reporting that has indicated that these videos played a part in his release. However, the attorney who has been working with him now has actually come out and said, our producer talked to him on the phone today, and unfortunately he couldn't join us today. He had a previously scheduled court hearing, but he did tweet out, let me make something clear. The videos released and played on Fox News did not play a role in any early release for Jake Tansley. Al Watkins claiming that to be the case is false, and is Watkins continuing to deflect blame away from himself for his horrible work. Jake's sentence was 42 months. The final 6 months are always in a halfway house by police, so total custodial time was going to be 36 months. But there are programs that allow a prisoner to earn credit on his sentence beyond good time credit. Jake took advantage of those opportunities. He was arrested in January 2021 and was detained the entire time. He served 26 plus months in custody. When I first spoke with him in November 2021, I told him his release date was likely February 2023. He thought that it would be early 2024, and it ended up being pretty close. He was not far off from that February projection date, almost April of 2023. And so this is apparently a case where a lawyer swooped in to pretend like he was going to save the day. Al Watkins swooped in, pretended to save the day, and actually got him to plea to made a deal. He went to prison, never talked to the guy again, allegedly. And this new lawyer came in to help him. But this was not any sort of victory from these videos exonerating him. And, I'm glad that he's out of prison. I want to make that clear. He should have never been in prison. But to me, it angers me because I want accountability from the government who could have given this evidence, that should have been played at his trials.
On the flip side, former President of the United States, John Trump, was indicted. First time in history any president's ever been indicted. There's 34 counts against him. Should be really juicy to see what's going on. Probably another nothing burger. There's been several of these served up over the past 7 or 8 years. So could be much ado about nothing. But I think just the indictment itself is a history-making event that we should look into and scrutinize to see what else we can learn. What kind of political agendas might be behind that, where you lock up your political opposition?
Hello! Hello? Who is it? We are from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Whose castle is this? This is the castle of Donald J. Trump. This is Castle Mar-a-Lago. Go and tell your master that we have a warrant for his immediate arrest. He must ride with us to New York to be fingerprinted and charged. Well, I'll ask him, but I don't think he'll be too keen. He is, playing golf, you see. What? He said he's playing golf. Are you sure he's playing golf? Oh, yes, quite sure, thank you. I told them he's playing golf. Well, can we come up and wait inside? No, of course not. You are New York types. If you do not open the gates, we shall take your castle by force. You don't frighten us, Manhattan pig dogs. Go and boil your bottom, the son of a silly person. I'll blow my nose at you, so-called district attorney. If you do not agree to my commands, then I shall take... Jesus Christ!
Durham probe into the Russia collusion hoax.
President Trump has just been impeached on both Article 1 and...
The only president of the United States to be impeached for a second
January
time.
6th committee releasing its final 845-page report.
Former President Donald Trump has been indicted.
Remember this, nothing worth doing ever came easy. Following your convictions means you must be willing to face criticism from those who lack the same courage to do what is right. Relish the opportunity to be an outsider. Embrace that label. Being an outsider is fine. Embrace the label. Because it's the outsiders who change the world and who make a real and lasting difference. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead.
This is a party that wants an outsider badly.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
You must keep pushing forward. Never, ever give up. There'll be times in your life you'll want to quit, you'll want to go home. I can't do it. I can't do it. Just never quit. You will build a future where we have the courage to chase our dreams no matter what the cynics and the doubters have to say. You will have the confidence to speak the hopes in your hearts and to express the love that stirs your souls. And you will have the faith to replace a broken establishment with a government that serves and protects the people. They're not coming after me, they're coming after you. I'm just standing in their way. And I always will stand in their way.
Oh my God. They really handed that to him, huh? And now all he has to do is exist, and he will count as that because it's like how Russia's economy is now stronger. After all our efforts to, and he's more popular than ever with the Russians. The same the techniques they use.
You know, they're still running articles. I saw an article today saying that Russia's collapsing. They're still doing that.
Wow, I didn't even know people were still things that are anti, all gung ho Ukraine are saying, oh, well, yeah, it's stronger now. It's just not going to last. Like they've switched to that. Wow.
They're still running those. And so that is the gift they just gave Donald Trump. He gets to look like the outsider. He's a billionaire who had his own network television show for 10 years. He's now gets to position himself as an outsider who's fighting for you. They're coming for you. But they're going to have to go through him first. He's going to, it's like, holy shit. I mean, they just handed this to this guy.
Can you imagine, I genuinely don't want to be president again just because of all the bullshit when he was last time of people losing their minds. But
yes.
I mean, people are going to, if he makes it in again, Democrats are going to self-mutilate and Mad Max with spikes in their nose and drive around and
They'll
buggies.
blame China this time.
Oh, yeah.
This time it's China because they want a new war with China. They already got their war with Russia. We already spent a couple $100 billion with
Worked out great.
Worked out great for us. China's got a stronger economy than ever. We have inflation. There's no way. Okay, so anything is possible. So they could convict Trump. If they can indict him on this, they can convict him. If they don't have to indict George Bush and Dick Cheney, they could do anything. So anything can happen, but this is bad. This is bad for you, everybody in America. This isn't just bad for Donald Trump or the Republican Party or MAGA. This is bad for everybody. We now live in a banana republic. This is an unbelievable the thing that they warned you Trump was going to do. He's going to start locking up his political opponents. That's what they're doing.
And then we're going to do some deep dives tonight into books like this. This has been a hot topic. We're going to feature Jamie Dyer, and Courtney Turner.
All right, we have a special in-person, 3-person episode of Jay's Analysis. We're going to be talking with our two good friends here, well, one wife, one friend, about the classic John Coleman's Committee of 300. I read it years ago. I've been rereading it in the last few weeks. They are up to speed on it, so we want to get their takes on the book. It's definitely one that I think is a great introduction if you're new to red pill content or understanding what is really going on in the world in terms of geopolitics. This is a book that a lot of people start out with.
But we're going to look into these books as they did. Tavistock Institute by John Coleman, Committee of 300, and then Superclass by Rothkopf, Technocracy Rising, and Technopoly are still on my desk from earlier today, Q&A with Autonomy students. We'll probably put those books in there too, because they all go together. So before we can do all that, let's get, I'm going to this camera now. Let's do the weekly kickoff with Luke Radowski from wearechange.org and thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And then we'll be right back to get into deep dives and a whole lot more. Hang in there.
Hello. Have you got any right to stop here?
Yeah, you'll see that this is a no through motor vehicles. This is motor
Yeah, do you go to work?
Yes, I'm on my way to work.
Yeah, what time you're going?
Stop here to talk to my friends for about 15 minutes.
Yeah, you stay here just all your day, just wasting people time. No, you don't understand. Yeah, don't worry. I want to see if you got something that show me that you can stop. No, okay. Can you open, please? Thank you. If I get a fine. I will film you going through it. Yeah, okay, don't worry. Okay, can you move now? I'm late. I need to go to work. Excuse me. Move. I'm going to get a fine. You got my everything. Now you move now. Okay? Excuse me. You're taking a... Excuse me. I said you to move now. Just go. Listen. I'm late. I need to go to work. I've got a life. I've got kids.
Holy cow. Imagine trying to go to work and some blue-haired ninny soy boy is like, nope, you can't. Because of a globalist envisioned city that you're living in now. That, of course, was in the United Kingdom. It's coming everywhere else.
I also wanted to take this opportunity to press this button. We just started Autonomy Season 9. It was Friday night. We did 4 or 5, 6 hours at lecture and Q&A. I just finished up another 4.5 hours with the students this afternoon at Q&A session. There's a breakdown over here. I'm not going to go in detail. There's a curriculum. We go 12 weeks. You can sign up for this season up until week 8, but you don't want to join late if you don't have to. That's for people who don't find out about it until later. All you have to do is click a button on the page. It'll take you to a place where you get to go to the obstacle course. Then if you click that button, you would actually begin the obstacle course. And that's the path towards seeing if it's something that's right for you. But I can't leave it to you to just click a web page, read through it. I brought you guys a sample. This is from not last Friday, because I'm not showing you Season 9 students, but I am willing to show you from the global meet and greet. Here are a few Autonomy graduates who have had substantial changes that they made in their own lives and have taken more self-agency and more autonomy demonstrated. So LD, go ahead and roll that short clip, and then we'll come back and go to Christy Lee.
Met Kara here locally. We basically met like through a freedom cell, and then I told her about Cecil Rhodes and she didn't run away. And then we have been hanging out ever since. And then Autonomy came, and I really wanted her to gain the benefits that were inside of the course. So I got her to join in Season 2. And then what happened?
Oh man, everything transformed in my life. So prior to Autonomy, I was a breakfast waitress for 11 years. and truthfully didn't really think I would do a whole lot else. I didn't really realize my own potential, didn't know what I was capable of. I was kind of on the outskirts of normal society, job expectations and career stuff. So when it came time to, my motivation was wanting to, get ready to start a family. I was like, well, I can't, start a family, want to be home with kids if I'm working, as a waitress all the time. So then simultaneously, I meet Joshua. And Joshua, not only have we had such a wonderful friendship and working relationship, but you truly are the one that helped me really see my own potential. It was working with you. We had this local project going on, putting Skillshare events together where we were kind of practicing the trivium in our own way, taking in, learning a new skill, processing it, and then teaching it to others. And through that, we needed a website. So I wrote the copy for our website, and that's when Joshua said, hey, you know that you can make a living doing this stuff, right? So, I started doing some little stuff on the side, but I was still just kind of in this employee mindset, a little bit of victim mentality. And then Autonomy came. And by the end of season 3, I had my business license. I had kicked, 90% of my waitressing work. And then as soon as COVID hit, it was just the boot that I needed to ditch that work altogether and then work for myself full time.
So Kara, tell us a little bit more about your coaching program. You are doing some one-on-one accountability coaching with advanced students for this current season. And then tell us about your new Momentum program.
Yeah, this has been really exciting new development this year. Created a new program called Autonomy Momentum, and it's a group coaching program. So what I started to find is I was wanting to find a way that people could get the benefits of one-on-one coaching.
Deep in a gaming addiction. Back when I first started Autonomy, I was still knee-deep in a gaming addiction where just, wake up at like 2 p.m., play games until I'm hungry, eat, and then play games until I'm tired, which is like well after midnight. And Mom has watched Grand Theft World for the longest time, and she eventually went, hey, there's this thing called Autonomy where people, figure out how to, encourage their best selves with a community of people to help you along the way. And I started looking at the obstacle course and went, this could help me get out of this stick in the mud I've been stuck in ever since I quit the 9-to-5 that was just eating me alive. And just got started with it. And when I left in season 6, I had strong aspirations of, starting, a little real estate photography business, but hadn't quite gotten enough of the pieces that I needed on that board to really get going with it. And right back in that gaming addiction, when season 7 came back in, I came back in, both feet forward, we're ready to take steps. And by like week 3 or 4, I was doing the edits for Autonomy behind the scenes. And by the end of that, it was habit. I was part of the team. Now I'd gotten another paid work to do. By the time I got into season 8, I was already rolling, getting that ball rolling. And, now I do regular edits for Grand Theft World. I do the streaming for Grand Theft World. That computer's over there. And
that's very meta.
My big item is also the fiction novel that I've been writing, without the Autonomy community, really inspiring, giving that time, seeing the value in things. My book wouldn't have taken off nearly as much as it has, and it's been kept going by having a place to, post it and having weekly meetings with somebody from Autonomy to keep the inspiration going. And for season 9, I'll be jumping in because I got to brush up on some of the skills to get this sucker published.
So I would say, like, you don't need these skills when you're 10. But by the time you're expected to like support yourself and be out on your own, like age 18, like you want to have these skills in play. And for you having them earlier in your career, it's going to make a huge difference because you will never not have an offer that you know how to make to the market. It's like a simple lesson. And once we all learn it, then we just stack offers, right? Like if electricity goes away, I still have offers I can make to the market.
Let's go to tie-dye to tie. Mr. Phoenix.
What's going on, autonomizers? Who's still awake right now, huh? You guys better wake up. You guys better wake up because it's time for some high energy. We're three hours in. We need to refuel. We need to re-energize and remember why we're here. And that's to level up our game and be better than we were yesterday. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Hi, Joshua.
Hi, Richard.
Man, your energy is so refined since we met you at Porcupine Freedom Festival. You were migrant, artist, delivering stuff. You had this thing going on when we first met you, and now it seems to have changed and become more organized, structured, and maybe serving you better. So I want to hear that story.
So I found you and Autonomy through, thankfully, Ernie Hancock.
Yeah.
You were on a couple of episodes of his back in the day. COVID comes around and I find Grand Theft World and I'm like, oh, this is the greatest dang, thing since sliced bread. And come to find out what the beauty behind the Trivium is, was really just a method of learning. And I was like, I need this in my life. And I was driving expedited freight at the time because when Rona kicked off, my buddy said, hey, we need some drivers, you want to work? And I was like, okay, sure. And one of the aspects at the time one of the freedom strategies at the time that I was, investigating in was Vonoism, the act of taking radical lifestyle changes to increase your invulnerability to coercion, not just from the state, but from private individuals too. And so like van life was this thing that I was really deep into. And the transition from going from a, for lack of a better term, homeless van dweller traversing the country, which was amazing. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. It was awesome. The transition from going from that to where I am now is 180 degrees. One of the first, I was able to, over the last few seasons, work with various students and graduates in Autonomy. And I've, realized that one of the strengths that I had was really just wanting to help people and learning, how to best apply these abilities of listening and helping and caring. And the way that you taught sales was really based on those same values and those same core ideas. And you're going to love this, Rich. One of the concepts that the attorney that I am working for now, who his sales process is almost identical to what we learn here in Autonomy, the methods and the core values and the concept and the mindset of sales. You're gonna love this. One of the things that you want to solve in sales is anxiety and fear, and a lot of that is represented by the rubber band. It's called dynamic tension. I don't know if you're familiar with this one, Rich. The concept of dynamic tension. This is your anxiety, right? And you want to get rid of the anxiety, and you could just quit when it gets hard, and it just snaps, right? And there's no more tension, but there's no more challenge either. So the goal is removing that anxiety, and it's just incremental little steps to get rid of that dynamic tension. And that's one of the methods of the mindset that you really will pick up through Autonomy is, it's fail forward, fail faster, fail earlier. And so throughout Autonomy, I've gone from, living in my van to now having realigned what my actual goals and values are. And I'm actually considering buying a home and getting some stability in my life, which will lock down my schedule so I can actually go back to producing more content. They've had two other sales individuals in this firm. One of them left. I'm not sure what happened, but that's this most recent one. She went off to law school. So I'm literally the only salesperson there. So I'm developing their entire sales program moving forward. And my goal, they've got two offices. My goal is to open up the second office once it's ready and train an entire sales staff to sell the way we teach here on Autonomy.
Boom. The artist known as Phoenix Aurora has evolved.
My first goal for that is selling the firm on Autonomy. Every new hire should go through Autonomy. That's my opinion. Now I just got to build that offer.
I don't want to do this, but I'll do it.
No, I'll clarify that. So I needed skills. Elise had those skills. So I reached out to her, but I also wanted to only be working with a team that had a shared culture. So I made an offer to Elise. How about we do a trade? You gain all these skills inside of this course, and then we can work together, right?
Fully, for the past few months, I've been fully independent, and I never would have thought that I would be confident enough to do that, or would would like ever take that leap, because I'm very like a comfort, like stability kind of person. So just like coming out of that scarcity mindset and being like, okay, like it's okay, you have something to offer, like you're learning how to just like make sales less big of a deal. Because I feel like in all the sales jobs I've had in the past, it's like hit your numbers, do well, like and there's this person telling you like if you don't hit your numbers comparatively to these other people, you're failing. And I really hate that, because I'm like, well, I'm doing better. And you know, it's just like this whole pressure system that you don't want to be cooked in. And anyway, so recently I've gotten the opportunity to like grow more within Autonomy and do the copywriting, and actually got to work on a whole copywriting research project, which was really fun. I really like research, and it really ties into like other things that I've been learning in another course that I'm doing. And just with like the skills that I'm learning in both courses at the same time, it's just been amazing for my business and for my confidence like in the world. And I don't know, it's just been really fun too. So, and I appreciate Joshua, Kara, everybody in the team.
Season 9, it kicked off. We're still taking new students for a couple weeks. Prices are going up next season. You still get lifetime enrollment if you buy this season. I don't know how future seasons work. I'm not the soothsayer, but I do know how it works right now. And what I can say is there's nearly 75 people enrolled for season 9. They are not unlike you, who are there yet to take action, yet to explore, to see if it's right for you. So I was just including that to help get a few more people off the fence who are right there, that if they just heard from fellow students, those are people just like you. They were audience members once upon a time, some of them. And then 12 weeks later, 6 months later, 1 year later, amazing changes have taken place, not because of me, but because they showed up for themselves consistently and internalized and made some new friends, lifetime connections. So get autonomy.info/ignite. This is what the top of the page looks like, so you'll know that you're on the right page. There's a campus map too. You can click into that, check it out. It's pretty heavy duty. Let me use the scroll and just go to the top. High value skills, just 12 weeks, 11 for you if you see this week.